I was 29 years old when I discovered that curiosity doesn't just kill cats. Sometimes it hollows you out from the inside until you're nothing but a shell wearing your own face. If you're listening to this alone right now, drop a comment and let me know where you are. I want to know who else is awake at this hour, scrolling through shadows. My name is River Ashton, and I used to think I understood what privacy meant. That was before I found the auction. It started in March of 2024. I was living in a studio apartment in Austin, Texas, working remotely as a data analyst for a pharmaceutical company. The job paid decently, but the loneliness was crushing. My girlfriend had left 6 months earlier, taking the dog and most of our shared friends. I spent my evenings the way too many people do now, scrolling, clicking, searching for something I couldn't name. I'd always been the curious type, the kind of person who clicks read more, even when the article is clearly sensationalist garbage, who watches documentaries about cults and serial killers at 2 a.m, who reads the terms and conditions just to see what companies are really asking for. That curiosity led me to Reddit first, then to darker forums, then to Tor. I told myself it was research, professional interest. Data analysts need to understand the full spectrum of online behavior, right? That's what I said when I downloaded the browser, configured the VPN, and typed in my first .onion address. The deep web was disappointing at first. Most of it was just boring. Inactive marketplaces, conspiracy theory forums that made Facebook look reasonable, a lot of broken links and slow-loading pages that went nowhere. But then I found a directory, a catalog of active sites organized by category. And under experiences, there was a link that caught my attention. The viewing room, live access, real people, real moments. Bidding starts at 0.01 Bitcoin. I clicked. The site loaded slowly. Black background, white text, no graphics. Just a simple interface with a list of lots. That's what they called them. Each lot had a number, a brief description, and a current bid. Lot 47. Kitchen, evening. Subject unaware. 2 viewers. Current bid, 0.015 BTC. Lot 89. Bedroom, late night. Subject sleeping. 5 viewers. Current bid, 0.03, 2 BTC. Lot 132. Home office, work hours. Subject on video call. 1 viewer. Current bid, 0.008 BTC. My stomach tightened. This was a voyeurism site. People were bidding for access to watch strangers through hacked cameras. I should have closed the browser right then. Should have cleared my history, uninstalled Tor, maybe even reported it to someone. Instead, I kept scrolling. The descriptions were clinical, detached, but underneath each one was a small detail that made it real. Subject appears to be cooking pasta. Subject just changed into pajamas. Subject is crying. That last one stopped me cold. Lot 201, living room, night. Subject is crying. 8 viewers. Current bid, 0.051 BTC. 8 people were watching someone cry, bidding for the privilege. I clicked on the lot number. A preview window opened. 5 seconds of grainy footage, just enough to show a woman sitting on a couch, face in her hands, shoulders shaking. The angle was from above, probably a smoke detector or smart TV. Then the preview ended, replaced by text. Full access requires winning bid. Auction ends in 47 minutes. Place your bid to continue watching. I closed the window. My hands were shaking. For 3 days I tried to forget about it. I went to work, attended virtual meetings, ate my meals, but every night I found myself thinking about that woman, about the 8 people watching her grief like it was entertainment, about how many other cameras were out there, how many other private moments were being auctioned off to strangers. On the 4th night, I went back. The viewing room had new lots, different people, different rooms, different moments. I scrolled through them with a sick fascination, not bidding, just observing the ecosystem. Usernames like Shadowgaze and Nightwatcher42 placing bids, sometimes getting into bidding wars that drove the price up. Then I saw one that made my breath catch. Lot 338, home gym, morning, subject exercising, Austin, Texas, one viewer, current bid, 0.009 Bitcoin, Austin, Texas, my city. I clicked before I could stop myself. The 5-second preview loaded, a man in his 30s doing push-ups in a small home gym. The camera angle was from a corner near the ceiling. The man had dark hair, a tattoo on his left shoulder, a specific tattoo, an eagle with spread wings. I knew that tattoo. I'd seen it at my climbing gym. A regular named Derek, who always arrived at 6 in the morning, worked out for exactly an hour, then left. Someone was watching Derek. Someone was selling access to watch Derek. My hands moved on their own. I opened a cryptocurrency exchange, bought 0.01 BTC, transferred it to a new wallet, created an account on the viewing room under the name Observer19, placed my bid. For 11 minutes, I was the only bidder. Then someone else jumped in, Nightwatcher42. We went back and forth, tiny increments, until I finally won at 0.023 BTC, roughly $1,100. The video player unlocked, full access, no time limit, as long as Derek's camera stayed active. I watched him finish his workout, wipe down the equipment, drink from a water bottle. The audio was enabled. I could hear his breathing, the clank of weights, the buzz of his phone when a text came in. I watched for 6 minutes. Then I closed it, sick with myself. But I didn't delete my account. I didn't report the site. I told myself I was gathering evidence, documenting this for something, some future purpose that justified what I was doing. 2 weeks later, I bid on another lot. Then another. I learned the patterns. Lots in the early morning were cheaper. Bedrooms at night cost more. The site had regulars, people who bid on the same subjects repeatedly, building what the forum called collections. There was a leaderboard. Top bidders, top viewers, top contributors, people who submitted new camera feeds. Nightwatcher42 was number 3. A user called Eye in the Sky was number 1 with over 300 successful bids. I was number 47. The site had a chat feature, private messages between users. One night, after I won a bid on a lot showing a woman reading in her apartment, I received a message from Eye in the Sky. Nice choice. Lot 445 is a regular of mine. She reads every night, same chair, same lamp. Very peaceful to watch. If you're interested in long-term observation, I can recommend some reliable subjects. My skin crawled, but I responded. Thanks. Still learning the ropes. We all start somewhere. The key is consistency. Find subjects with predictable routines. The cameras are more stable that way. Less chance of detection. How long have you been doing this? 3 years. Started as curiosity. Now it's more like meditation. There's something calming about watching real life unfold without interference. No performance, no artifice, just truth. I didn't respond after that. But the message haunted me. 3 years. 3 years of watching strangers, of treating their private lives as ambient entertainment. And I was 1 month in. By May, I'd won 14 auctions, spent over $8,000. I had a list of favorites, the site's term, not mine. Subjects whose lots I'd bid on multiple times. A college student in Seattle who studied late into the night. An elderly man in Phoenix who watched old movies. A couple in Denver who cooked dinner together every evening, laughing and dancing in their kitchen. I never watched anything explicit. Never bid on bathrooms or intimate moments. That was my line, the boundary that let me sleep at night. I was just observing, I told myself. Just watching people live. Then one night in early June, a new lot appeared that changed everything. Lot 672, home office, evening, subject working, Austin, Texas. 0 viewers. Current bid, none. Austin again. I clicked the preview. The 5-second clip showed a small home office, a desk with 2 monitors, a person sitting with their back to the camera typing. The apartment looked familiar. The layout, the wall color, the specific angle of the window. The person turned slightly. I caught a glimpse of their profile. It was me. I was watching myself. My hands went numb. I stared at the screen, at the grainy preview of my own apartment, my own desk, my own body hunched over my keyboard. Someone had submitted a camera feed of me. Someone was trying to auction off access to watch me. I checked the lot details. Posted 19 minutes ago. No bids yet. No viewers. But the auction was active, and according to the site's rules, it would run for 24 hours. My first instinct was panic. Rip apart my apartment, find the camera, destroy it. But a colder part of my brain took over. If I found the camera, the contributor would know. They might have more than one. They might be watching right now, waiting to see my reaction. Instead, I did something I'm not proud of. I bid on myself. I placed a high enough bid, 0.1 Bitcoin, about $4,800, to scare off casual viewers. Then I waited, watching the lot page refresh every 30 seconds, praying no one else would bid. For 6 hours, I was alone. Then at 2 a.m, a new bid appeared. Night Watcher 42, 0.11 BTC. I countered, 0.15 BTC. Night Watcher 42 countered, 0.16 Bitcoin. We went back and forth until I hit 0.3 Bitcoin, over $14,000. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely type. Night Watcher 42 didn't counter. At exactly 24 hours after the lot was posted, the auction closed. I'd won access to watch myself. The video player unlocked. I saw my apartment from a corner angle near the ceiling. The camera was tiny, hidden somewhere in the smoke detector or the air vent. The feed was live. I was sitting at my desk, staring at my laptop, watching myself watch myself in an infinite loop of surveillance. I waved at the camera. On my screen, the video showed me waving. A 2-second delay, but unmistakable. Then a private message appeared. From Eye in the Sky. Interesting move, Observer 19. Bidding on yourself. That's a first. I typed back, my heart hammering. How did you know? The IP pattern. Your bids always come from the same general location as lot 672. Plus, your behavior changed the moment the lot was posted. You became sloppy, desperate. It was obvious. What do you want? Nothing. Just wanted to congratulate you. You've learned the site's most important lesson. Everyone is a subject. Everyone can be watched. The only question is whether you're willing to pay for the illusion of control. I didn't respond. I tore my apartment apart that night, found the camera in the smoke detector, just like I'd suspected, smashed it, covered every other device, formatted my laptop, changed all my passwords, deleted my viewing room account. But the paranoia never left. Because 2 weeks later, I received a package. No return address. Inside was a USB drive. I almost threw it away. But the same curiosity that led me to the viewing room in the first place made me plug it in. It contained folders, hundreds of them, each labeled with a date and time, video files, recordings from my apartment. Not just from the camera I'd found, but from multiple angles. My bedroom, my kitchen, my bathroom, 3 months of footage. Every moment, every private breakdown, every night I thought I was alone. And at the bottom of the drive, a text file. Your subscription is now permanent. Welcome to the collection. That was 4 months ago. I moved to a new apartment, a new city, I cover every camera. I check for devices obsessively. But I know the truth now. Once you're in the collection, you never really leave. Sometimes late at night, I open my laptop and check the forums, searching for lot numbers from my new city, my new apartment, descriptions that match my routines. I haven't found myself yet, but I know I will, because the people who run the viewing room don't let go of their subjects. We're too valuable, too interesting, too real. And the worst part? I still remember the feeling, the calm of watching someone else's life unfold, the meditation, like Eye in the Sky said. Sometimes I miss it. Sometimes I wonder if I should just bid on myself again and accept that this is what I've become, a viewer and a subject forever trapped in the auction. They say the internet never forgets. What they don't tell you is that sometimes it remembers things that never happened. Comment below if you've ever searched for something online and immediately regretted it. I need to know I'm not the only one. My name is Sloan Mercer, and I'm 31 years old. 6 months ago, I sold a memory I didn't know I had. 3 months ago, I bought one that wasn't mine. Now I can't tell where I end and the strangers in my head begin. I should start with why someone would sell their memories in the first place. It was January 2025. I was living in Minneapolis, working as a freelance graphic designer. The work was inconsistent, the Minnesota winter was brutal, and my student loans were a constant weight pressing down on my chest. I'd been behind on rent for 2 months. My landlord, a woman named Patricia with thin lips and thinner patience, had started leaving notes under my door instead of calling. I spent my evenings scrolling through gig sites, looking for anything that paid: data entry, content moderation, online surveys that promised $5 for an hour of your time. That's how I found the ad. Memory Research Study. Earn $500 to $5,000. Contribute to groundbreaking neuroscience. Confidential. Compensated immediately. The link led to a simple form. No university affiliation, no .edu domain, just a plain website with a questionnaire asking about my memory capabilities, traumatic experiences, significant life events. At the bottom, a tour address for serious applicants only. I told myself it was probably a scam, but $500 was $500. I downloaded Tor that night, configured it, entered the address. The site that loaded was called the Memory Archive. Clean design, professional font, a logo that looked like a brain made of interlocking puzzle pieces. The homepage explained the concept in clinical terms. We are building the world's first comprehensive database of human experiences. Using advanced neural mapping and encryption technology, we preserve authentic memories for research, therapeutic applications, and historical documentation. Contributors are compensated based on the uniqueness and emotional intensity of their submissions. There was a sample list of in-demand memories. First kiss, age 12 to 16, $200 to $400. Death of a loved one, $800 to $2,000. Major trauma, accident, assault, natural disaster, $1,500 to $5,000. Wedding night, $300 to $600. Childbirth, $1,000 to $3,000. My stomach turned. They were buying grief, intimacy, pain, the worst and best moments of people's lives, priced like items in a catalog. But I kept reading. The process was simple. You'd schedule a session at one of their collection centers, addresses in major cities, always in unmarked buildings. You'd wear a neural interface headset, think about the specific memory, and their technology would extract and encode it. The memory would remain in your brain, they promised. You'd lose nothing. They were just making a copy, and the payment was immediate. Cash or cryptocurrency, your choice. I looked at Patricia's latest note on my fridge. Final notice. Pay by the 15th or face eviction. I booked an appointment for the next day. The collection center was in a converted warehouse in northeast Minneapolis, the kind of neighborhood where old industrial buildings get turned into breweries and art studios. The door had no sign, just a number. I rang the buzzer. A woman's voice crackled through the intercom. Name? Sloan Mercer. I have a 2:00 appointment. The door buzzed open. Inside was nothing like I expected. Not a lab or a medical office, but something in between. White walls, soft lighting, a waiting room with 2 leather chairs and a water cooler, ambient music playing, the kind you hear in spas. A door at the far end with a keypad lock. The woman who greeted me was in her 40s, dressed in black scrubs, her dark hair pulled back in a neat bun. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Sloan, welcome. I'm Dr. Voss. Thank you for contributing to our research. She gestured to a clipboard. Standard waiver. You're consenting to neural scanning, data extraction, and archival storage. Your identity remains anonymous. The memory you contribute becomes property of the memory archive, but does not erase from your own neural pathways. I signed without reading it thoroughly. I needed the money. Dr. Voss led me through the keypad door into a small room. A reclining chair sat in the center, surrounded by monitors and equipment that looked expensive and vaguely medical. A headset rested on a nearby table, matte black with dozens of small sensors on the inside. Have you decided which memory you'd like to contribute? Dr. Voss asked. I'd thought about this. What was worth the most money? What could I stand to share? My father's funeral, I said quietly. 5 years ago, cancer. She nodded, sympathy flickering across her face. That qualifies as a significant loss event. We can offer $1,500. $1,500. Enough for rent and groceries for 2 months. Okay. Dr. Voss had me sit in the chair, fitted the headset over my skull. The sensors pressed against my scalp, cold and slightly damp. She tapped at a tablet, and the equipment hummed to life. Close your eyes, she instructed. Think about that day. Don't try to narrate it or explain it. Just remember, let yourself be there again. I closed my eyes. The memory came easily, too easily. The funeral home with its oppressive floral smell. The closed casket because the cancer had wasted him to nothing. My mother's hand gripping mine so tightly my fingers went numb. The pastor's voice, distant and hollow, saying things about eternal peace that felt like lies. The moment I broke, standing at the casket, touching the polished wood, whispering, I'm sorry, for reasons I still didn't understand. I felt the tears on my face, hot and immediate, and then a pull, a sensation like something being drawn out of me, thread by thread. Not painful, but deeply wrong, like watching a part of yourself drain away through a sieve. The equipment beeped. Dr. Voss's voice cut through the fog. We have it. You can open your eyes. I did. The room swam into focus. I felt dizzy, hollow. I touched my face. My cheeks were dry. Had I been crying? I couldn't remember. How do you feel? Dr. Voss asked. Strange. Light. That's normal. Some contributors report a sense of emotional distance from the extracted memory. It fades within a few hours. She handed me an envelope. $1,500 as agreed, cash. I took it with shaking hands. That night, lying in bed, I tried to remember the funeral. I could recall the facts, the date, the location, who attended. But the feeling was gone. The crushing grief, the guilt, the moment I broke at the casket. It was like watching a movie I'd seen once, years ago. Present, but not mine. I told myself it was fine, that I was better off without that pain. 2 weeks later, I went back. This time I sold my first kiss, $400. Then my college graduation, $300. Then a car accident from when I was 19, $1,200. Each time the process was the same. The headset, the pull, the hollowness. Each time Dr. Voss handed me cash and a soft smile. By March, I'd sold 11 memories. made over $9,000. Caught up on all my bills, bought a new laptop, even started saving. But the gaps were growing. I'd lost entire emotional landscapes. I remembered events, but not how they felt. My best friend's wedding, the day I adopted my cat, the night my ex-boyfriend proposed, all present in my head as facts, but stripped of meaning. I felt lighter, cleaner, but also less. One evening, while scrolling through the Memory Archive's website, I found a different section. Not contribute, but experience. Browse our collection of archived memories. Live moments you never had. Feel emotions that aren't yours. Prices vary by intensity and rarity. There was a catalog, hundreds of entries, each with a brief description and a price. Memory number 2847. First day of college. Excitement, nervousness, hope. Age 18. Female perspective. 30 minutes. $150. Memory number 5632. Birth of first child. Overwhelming love, exhaustion, joy. Age 29. Male perspective. 45 minutes. $400. Memory number 8891. Near-death experience. Drowning, rescue, gratitude. Age 34. Non-binary perspective. 20 minutes. $600. You could buy other people's memories. Experience them as if they were your own. I should have closed the browser. Should have deleted my account and never gone back. Instead, I clicked on a memory at random. Memory number 4420. Walking through Paris at sunset. Peace, wonder, beauty. Age 26. Female perspective. 25 minutes. $200. I'd never been to Paris, never had the money or time, but for $200, I could remember being there. I booked an integration session for the next day. The process was the reverse of extraction. Dr. Voss fitted the headset, loaded the memory file, and told me to relax. Then came the push, a flood of sensation that wasn't mine, but felt completely real. I was walking along the Seine. The sunset painted the sky in shades of orange and pink, the smell of fresh bread from a nearby boulangerie, the sound of street musicians playing accordion, a sense of profound peace, of being exactly where I belonged. For 25 minutes, I lived in someone else's skin. When it ended, I gasped, back in the white room, back in my own body. But the memory remained. I could recall the walk, the smells, the feeling. It sat in my brain alongside my real memories, indistinguishable except for a faint sense of wrongness, like a puzzle piece forced into place. "How was it?" Dr. Voss asked. "Incredible," I whispered. I bought 3 more that week. A memory of hiking in Patagonia, a memory of falling in love at a coffee shop, a memory of playing piano at a recital. Each one added to my collection. Each one filled the gaps left by the memories I'd sold. But they didn't fit quite right. By April, I'd bought 17 memories and sold 14. My head was a patchwork. Half my childhood felt distant and factual, but I had vivid, emotional memories of events that never happened to me. A graduation from a school I never attended. A proposal on a beach I'd never visited. A grandmother's funeral for a woman I'd never met. I started losing track. Which memories were mine? Which were purchased? When friends asked me about my past, I'd start a story and realize halfway through that it wasn't my story at all. One night, my best friend Cora called. "Hey, remember that insane road trip we took to Colorado? Junior year?" I laughed. Of course, the car broke down outside. I stopped. I couldn't remember. Not because I'd sold the memory, but because suddenly I had 2 versions. In one, Cora and I drove to Colorado and broke down outside Denver. In another, I drove alone to Arizona and broke down in Flagstaff. One was mine, one I'd bought from the archive under the category Adventurous Mishaps. But which was which? "Outside where?" Cora prompted. I need to go. I'll call you back." I hung up before she could respond. That night, I tried to inventory my memories. I made a list of major life events, trying to determine which were real. But the purchased memories had integrated so completely that I couldn't tell the difference. The emotions felt equally genuine, the sensory details equally vivid. I'd erased myself and replaced myself with strangers. In May, I received an email from the Memory Archive, a promotional offer. Premium collection. Now available, extreme memories. Experience what few dare to live through. Limited quantities, high intensity. The catalog included memories I wish I'd never seen described. Memory number 10,394. Violent assault. Terror, pain, survival. Age 22. Female perspective. 18 minutes. $1,200. Memory number 11,057. Watching a loved one die. Helplessness, grief, rage. Age 40. Male perspective. 32 minutes. $1,500. Memory number 12,883. Attempted suicide, despair, regret, rescue. Age 19. Non-binary perspective. 25 minutes. $2,000. People were buying trauma, consuming other people's worst moments like entertainment. I felt sick, but I also felt curious. That same dark pull that made me download Tor in the first place. What would it feel like to experience someone else's rock bottom? I bought memory number 11,057, $1,500 I'd earned by selling my own memories. A transaction that now felt like cosmic irony. The integration session was scheduled for the following evening. I arrived at the warehouse, and Dr. Voss greeted me with her usual professional smile. "You've selected a high-intensity memory," she said, reviewing her tablet. "I need to inform you that extreme memories can cause psychological distress. We recommend—" "I understand," I interrupted. "I want to proceed." She nodded, fitted the headset, loaded the file. The push came like a tidal wave. I was in a hospital room, machines beeping, a figure in the bed, wasted and gray. My father, no, not my father, someone else's father. But the grief was mine. The helplessness was mine. I watched him take his last breath, felt my hand gripping his, felt the moment life left his body, and the room became a tomb. 32 minutes of drowning in someone else's agony. When it ended, I was sobbing. Dr. Voss helped me out of the chair, offered tissues, water, but the memory clung to me like oil. I drove home in a fugue state. That night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that hospital room, felt that death. But here's the thing that broke me. I already had a memory of my father dying. My real father. The memory I'd sold months ago for $1,500. Now I had a different father's death in my head, equally vivid, equally painful, and I couldn't remember which grief was mine. Had I sold my real father's death and replaced it with a stranger's, or had I bought a memory that mimicked the one I'd lost? I spent 3 days trying to untangle it, looking at old photos, reading old journals. But memory is unreliable even without neural manipulation. I couldn't find the truth. I called the Memory Archive, demanded they tell me which memories I'd sold, which I'd bought. They refused. "Client confidentiality," the voice on the phone said. "We don't keep records linking contributors to their extracted memories. Everything is anonymized." "But they're my memories," I screamed. "I need to know what was mine." "I'm sorry, we can't help you with that." They hung up. I broke down then. Completely. Spent a week in bed, cycling through every memory in my head, trying to find the seams, trying to figure out where Sloan Mercer ended and the strangers began. My childhood. Was that summer at the lake real? Or purchased from someone else's nostalgia? My first love. Did I actually feel that way? Or was it implanted? My career choice. Did I choose graphic design, or did that ambition come from a memory I bought? I couldn't trust my own mind, my own history, my own identity. In June, I tried to stop, deleted my account, blocked the website, avoided that neighborhood entirely. But the memories don't care if you stop contributing. They're already there, tangled in your neurons, inseparable from your sense of self. Last week, I ran into my mother at a coffee shop. She hugged me and I felt nothing. Not because I didn't love her, but because I couldn't remember why. Had I sold the memories of her raising me, of her reading to me as a child, of her comforting me through breakups and failures? Or had I just forgotten naturally the way people do? I don't know. I'll never know. And that's the real horror. Not that the memory archive stole my memories. They didn't. I sold them willingly. Not that they forced false memories into my head. I paid for those too. The horror is that I can't tell the difference anymore. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I've actually lived. I'm a composite, a patchwork person built from fragments of strangers. Sometimes I wonder if Sloane Mercer even exists anymore, or if she's just a name attached to a collection of borrowed experiences, a ghost wearing someone else's history. Last night I received an email from the Memory Archive. We've noticed you haven't contributed recently. As a valued client, we'd like to offer you an exclusive opportunity. We're developing full life integration, a complete memory replacement package. Start fresh with a curated set of experiences. Become someone new. Interested parties should reply within 48 hours. I stared at that email for an hour, the cursor blinking in the reply field. A chance to erase whatever was left of me and rebuild from scratch. I haven't responded yet, but I haven't deleted it either, because the truth is, I'm not sure there's enough of the real me left to be worth saving. Some doors on the internet should never be opened, but the problem with curiosity is that it doesn't come with a warning label until after you've already clicked. Drop a comment if you're listening alone right now. I want to know who else is out there in the dark with me. My name is Camden Wells, and I'm 26 years old. 4 months ago, I did a favor for a stranger on the deep web. Last week, they came to collect theirs. It started small. That's how these things always start. I was a graduate student at UC Berkeley, studying computer science and barely scraping by on my stipend. My roommate Marcus introduced me to a forum called Reciprocity during a late-night coding session. It's like a barter system, he explained, pulling up the Tor browser. You do a favor for someone, they owe you one back. No money involved, just people helping people. The site was simple, black background, green text, a list of requests scrolling down the page. Need someone in Boston to pick up a package. Will return favor of equal effort. Looking for someone to make a phone call on my behalf. Can offer web design services in exchange. Need a letter delivered by hand in Chicago. Can trade programming help? It seemed harmless, community-based, almost wholesome. What kind of favors? I asked. Marcus shrugged. I had someone in Seattle mail something for me once. In return, I helped them debug some code. Easy. I created an account that night. Username, cipher_28. My first request was simple. I needed someone in New York to check if a specific apartment building had security cameras. I was applying for a remote job there and wanted to know what the neighborhood was like. Within 2 hours, someone responded. User, Nightjar. I can do this. In exchange, I need someone in the Bay Area to confirm a license plate for me. Just verify it exists. Nothing illegal. Fair enough. I accepted. The next day, Nightjar sent me photos of the building. No cameras visible. Clear shots from multiple angles. Professional work. Now I owed them. 3 days later, Nightjar messaged me with an address in Oakland and a license plate number. I drove there on my lunch break, found the car in a parking lot, verified the plate matched. Took a photo, sent it back. Debt cleared. Pleasure doing business. That should have been the end of it. 2 weeks later, a new request appeared in my inbox from a user called architect_0. Need someone in Berkeley to observe a specific coffee shop. Note who enters between 2 to 4 p.m. on Thursday. Send descriptions. Will owe you one favor, any difficulty level. Any difficulty level. That was valuable. Most favors on reciprocity were rated by effort. Low, medium, high, extreme. Any difficulty meant they'd do something significant in return. I accepted.
Thursday afternoon, I sat in my car across from the coffee shop with a notebook, wrote down descriptions of everyone who entered, about 30 people over 2 hours, sent the list to architect_0.
Excellent work. Favor banked. Will contact you when needed. I felt a small thrill, like I'd gained social currency in a hidden economy. Over the next month, I did 4 more favors, delivered an envelope in San Francisco, took photos of a house in Berkeley, made a phone call to verify someone's employment. Each time I collected a favor owed. I used 2 of them. Had someone in Denver check apartment listings for me. Had someone in Portland verify a reference for a job application. The system worked. It felt efficient, smart, like I'd discovered a secret network of mutual aid. Then in March, I received a message from architect_0. Time to collect. I need you to give someone a ride. Pick them up at this address in Oakland at 11 p.m. Friday. Drive them to this address in Sacramento. Drop them off. Do not ask questions. Do not speak unless spoken to. This clears your debt. My stomach tightened. A 2-hour drive to Sacramento at night. With a stranger, no questions allowed. But I'd agreed to any difficulty level, and the rules of reciprocity were clear. Refusing a favor meant permanent ban and, according to the terms I'd barely skimmed, forfeiture of anonymity. I didn't know what that meant exactly, but it sounded bad. Friday night, I drove to the Oakland address, a rundown apartment complex near the port. I texted the number architect_0 provided. Here. 5 minutes later, a man emerged from the building. 30s, average height, wearing a black jacket and carrying a small duffel bag. He got in the back seat without a word. I started driving. For 20 minutes, silence. Then he spoke. You know what you're doing? Driving you to Sacramento, I said carefully. You know what's in the bag? I was told not to ask questions. He laughed. Smart? Keep being smart. The drive was the longest 2 hours of my life. Every traffic light felt like a trap. Every cop car made my heart race. When we finally reached the Sacramento address, a warehouse in an industrial area, I pulled over. He got out, leaned back in through the window. You did good. Don't worry. Nothing illegal happened tonight. Just a guy getting a ride. He walked into the darkness. I drove home with my hands shaking on the wheel. The next day, my debt to architect_0 was marked cleared. I should have deleted my account then, but I didn't, because 2 weeks later, I needed another favor. My laptop died, and I was broke. Someone in the network offered to send me a refurbished one in exchange for a future favor. I accepted. The laptop arrived. I owed again. This time, the favor came from a user called witness_9. Need you to receive a package at your address. Hold it for 3 days. Do not open. Someone will pick it up. Acknowledge receipt. A package, 3 days. That was it. I accepted. The package arrived Monday. Plain box, no return address, heavier than expected. I put it in my closet and tried not to think about it. Wednesday night, someone knocked on my door. A woman, 40s, professional looking. You have something for me. I gave her the box. She left, debt cleared. But that night, Marcus confronted me. Cam, what the hell are you involved in? What do you mean? That woman. I saw her leaving. I know what reciprocity is really used for. My blood went cold. What are you talking about? It's not a favor network. It's a laundering system. People use it to move things, information, money, whatever, through layers of strangers. No direct connection between sender and receiver, just a chain of people doing favors. That's not... You're a mule, Cam. You just don't know what you're carrying. I checked the forum that night, really read the terms, the warnings I'd ignored. Users are responsible for ensuring their favors comply with local laws. Reciprocity accepts no liability. By participating, you acknowledge that you may be facilitating activities you are not directly aware of. I'd been laundering, moving contraband, maybe evidence, maybe worse, all while thinking I was just helping people. I tried to delete my account. The option was grayed out. Active debts must be cleared before account closure. You currently owe 3 favors. 3. When had I agreed to 3? I checked my history. The laptop. A restaurant recommendation someone gave me that I'd accepted. A ride someone had offered when my car was in the shop. I owed 3 favors to 3 different users. The first request came last week. User, Nightjar, favor collection. I need you to forget something. Attached is a photo. Study it, memorize it, then delete all copies and never speak of it. Acknowledge compliance. The photo showed a man's face, someone I didn't recognize. Middle-aged, gray hair, glasses. Ordinary. I memorized it, deleted it, confirmed compliance. 2 days later, that face was on the news. A missing person, last seen near Berkeley campus. Had I just been made a witness, or had I helped hide one? The second request came yesterday. User, architect_0, final favor. Someone will visit you. They will ask you a question. Answer with this phrase exactly. The package was delivered on schedule. Say nothing else. This ends our business. I'm waiting for that knock now. The third favor is still pending. From a user I've never interacted with before. User, the _accountant. You owe a favor by proxy. Transfer debt from user witness _9. Favor will be collected in person. Await contact. No action required. In person. No action required. What does that mean? I don't know. But I'm sitting in my apartment with the door locked and the lights off, and I can't shake the feeling that I've been part of something much bigger than favors. That every small task was a piece of something terrible, a puzzle I helped complete without seeing the picture. Outside, a car just pulled up, engine idling. Someone's walking toward my building. I think the third favor is here, and I think I'm about to find out exactly what I've been helping move through the network. The knock comes, 3 times, slow and deliberate. I don't want to answer, but according to the terms I agreed to, I don't have a choice. The favor must be paid.